All right. So in this video, we're going to learn about the difference, right? We're going to understand human psychology, behavioral psychology, again, behavior, right? I mean, what psychology is their mind and the behavior, right? So one very important aspect to understand here is what people say versus what people do, right? So let's look at that. So here again, our context, just to set our context straight, we are looking at general human behavioral psychology, right? How do people behave? So there is a key kind of difference, right? Here we've got the same person, they're saying something, right? They're saying something versus what they actually do. So they may say that I'll do X, right? Whatever that X may be, but in reality, they may do Y, right? So what's Y? I mean, again, here I'm kind of depicting what they do with their hands, right? But it doesn't necessarily have to be with their hands, but it could be through any sort of action, right? Even words sometimes in sophisticated systems, right? Say, imagine you are like a decision maker. Your action is your words, right? If you set the rules for an organization or for a country itself, right? You're a senator or you are a politician, whatever. So that time your action, your doing would be with your words. But again, you get the gist, right? The gist is that what you say you will do versus what people really do, right? Again, you can look at it within your own life context, right? Anecdotally, or what you call empirically, right? If you gather evidence, I'm sure you have friends that say something and they do something. And you yourself, right? As a human being, we kind of go through this or do this. Why? So now let's look at why do humans do this, right? Let's set the stage. First and foremost, doing is very hard, right? Depending on the complexity of the task. I mean, thinking is easy. You can just think, all right, I'll fly into the sky and then I'll jump into this, I'll do this, X, Y, Z, whatever that might be, right? But when you actually try and do it, it is hard. Why is it hard? Because again, it takes effort. It's a different kind of effort. You sweat, it's your sweat and blood, right? And to move things in the material realm, right, or in the physical realm, instead of the mental realm, it takes a lot of energy, right? And it takes time, again. So humanity takes the path of least resistance. I mean, again, we're looking at why is there a difference between saying and doing, right? Because people like to take the path of least resistance. And if they can get away with something easy, right, they will. This is built into us. I mean, we might think that I'll try to be the best Olympic athlete or something of that sort, right? But then when we go through the rigors of that whole process, then we feel, oh, it's so hard. Let me give up or whatever that may be, right? I'm just taking a random example. But the other reason, the third reason is humans are always looking for personal profit, right? Some sort of incentive. I mean, a lot of books have talked about this, but if you reflect within your own life, you will realize this is true, right? If there's no personal profit, then you won't do it, right? We're always looking for some sort of profit. But again, in certain situations, if it doesn't profit us, we probably won't do it, right? I mean, you can think of politicians like a classic case over here, right? Now let's go on to this. Again, this is another kind of video I'll be doing, but here I just wanted to show you, right? People, I mean, you can categorize in a good and bad way, right? And okay, I mean, very likely you can categorize people on 4 different types, right? Easy to spot: criminals who here they may say bad words and their actions also match their words, right? You might look at emotional fools who say bad words. They say they'll do harm to you or whatever, but they actually do good, right? Those are emotional fools. You might have encountered them. Most deceptive, again, let's focus on the most deceptive because it's very interesting, right? They say they will do really good things in your life, right? They pretend to be like an angel, right? The words of your are very, very good to hear. They say they'll do good things for you and whatever society, but in reality, they do a lot of bad stuff, right? So that's most deceptive. So again, now that we know, right, doing is much, much more important than saying. There's something that we want to learn here or understand here in perspective of behavior and data, right? So let's get to that. That way, I mean, gives us, again, why do you want to understand this? Because that gives us an understanding of how to really deal with people, right? How to really understand people. Again, the reason I'll leave it open If you want to gain power over people, you might use that data or this mechanism for that aspect. But yeah, you can do whatever you want. But I mean, here again, just to kind of summarize, right? Knowing or unknowingly, humans lie, right? They say something, they do something else. I mean, there's a variance most of the time. Or so at the end of the day, you've got to kind of, the key thing for you to understand is to trust actions and not words, because yeah, that's how you know the character of a person, right? I mean, again, so let's go ahead and look at this, right? So what we do here is, right, we are saying this person here, this person here is saying they'll do X, but they'll actually end up doing Y. So now just let's flip, going by this principle, now that we know that doing is more important, action is more important than words, right? So let's look at actions for people. And again, in that perspective of our data gathering, right, we want to understand people. So digital media, we want to see what people are doing really. I mean, we want to really observe their digital devices, because what they say from the device, right, from this device, from this, so we really look at what they are doing on their devices, and from there we understand the what, right? What are they doing? What are these actions that are taking on these platforms, right? I mean, you get to understand their kind of behavior that the doing, right? And from there you kind of you can get to their train of thought, right? Their reasoning, whatever, that psyche, right? Understand what people think when they do something. I did X, Y, Z because blah, 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 right? Whatever that blah, blah, blah is. So that's what I wanted to cover in this video. Trying to keep it a bit short, but I think a following video, great video to watch, would be quantitative versus qualitative data, right? So again, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and support, and I'll see you in the next one.